Where's Dylan more hated, Milwaukee, St. Louis, or Atlanta? Or Los
Milwaukee.
Angeles?
Well,
Yeah,
Flash.
South Pasadena.
Hello and welcome back to Dodgers Debate. I'm Jack Harris, the LA Times Dodger beat writer, along with our not stuck on the ground at an airport columnists, Bill Plaschke and Dylan Hernandez. Guys, I hope you're in a more comfortable spot than I am for this.
Stop complaining, Jack. You're flying first class. Stop complaining.
Eventually, I will be. First, I have to get to Dallas to make a connection to San Francisco. I'll be spending a night in Dallas because that makes sense for a Milwaukee San Francisco trip. All to then just take a red eye flight to Atlanta at the end of this. This is really a great travel
Although,
schedule this
if
week.
you be honest, if you would fly any airline and not just your airline of choice, could you get there sooner? Are you a slave to
No,
the miles?
so American was the only airline that had a flight out. We're recording this on Wednesday night, evening, whatever it is. You can see the sun's still up. American's the only airline that had a flight out Wednesday after this game in Milwaukee, but it required a connection in Dallas. And then, of course, I got delayed. So now I'll be spending a night in Dallas and then waking up to then catch a flight to San Jose now. They changed that part. So then I'll be
Two
taking a
words,
train
Jack. I
into the
see it right
city.
behind you. Southwest. Southwest
Oh, because
will get you
that's
there
a
quicker.
very reliable airline.
Flash. He's in Milwaukee, which is like, I mean,
Southwest flies
I'm
there.
surprised. I'm surprised they have an airport. I
Oh,
mean,
that's right.
they
Dylan got in a
barely
big fight with Milwaukee.
they barely have electricity there, man. What are, like booties? What are you wearing, Jack? Is that like a Hawaiian shirt?
It's a golf
Stolen
shirt.
valor. Jack has stolen valor.
No,
It's
that's
not
it. Yeah,
camo. It's
it
it's
looks camo.
Lulu. It's the opposite of anything that's camo.
Yeah, see, because the lighting's so bad there, it looks like he's wearing like camo. I would say you look like an ICE agent, but you're not wearing a mask and you're not attacking a defenseless man. So
Jack, you were there in Milwaukee when Dylan, the entire stadium booed him. Booed him, put his picture on
Where's
the board.
where's Dylan more hated, Milwaukee, St. Louis, or Atlanta? Or Los
Milwaukee.
Angeles?
Yeah,
Flash,
South Pasadena.
Flash became very hated in Atlanta. I
Yeah,
became
I'm
a
more hated in
side
Atlanta,
character
probably.
very quickly in that
Yeah, only
story.
by one food chain in Atlanta,
Although,
to be
Dylan, why are you going to the All Star game, Dylan?
because
Uh,
he's grinding.
Why are you going?
Listen,
You going to see your old buddies and have a few cocktails, right?
because I'm an all-star, Plaschke. I don't know.
Oh,
There's nothing else to write about right now. I went to that DeAndre Ayton press conference yesterday. I couldn't even hear what he was saying.
I was all set up to write glass note today, and I covered the game from TV, and then it didn't do fire me at all. I didn't write.
That might be because segue time. Pitching has not been the problem for the Dodgers. Tyler Glasnow was actually good. The problem
Really
is
good.
they can't hit anymore, and because of that, they've lost 6 games in a row. They've scored 2 runs or fewer in 5 of them. They've really missed Max Muncy. They've also been without Teoscar Hernandez and Tommy Edman. And suddenly, what looked like it was shaping up to be a pretty good all-around first half of the season has hit this strange stretch where they've been swept in back-to-back series and have exposed some potential flaws, I think, in the lineup. I mean, we talked about this last week about how much should we worry about Max Muncy being out in the offense or whatever. How concerning have these 6 games been to you guys?
I'll say what I said every week for a month. Something's wrong with Freddie Freeman, and that's a huge concern. He's striking out twice as much as he's ever struck out. He's missing balls he usually drives. He's getting overmatched at the plate. He's not the same Freddie Freeman. Something's wrong with him, and maybe the All Star break will help heal or fix it. But I point to Freddie Freeman as the main not culprit, but the main cog in this offense that's going south. He's not Freddie Freeman. Something's wrong with him.
I'm not too concerned just because I think these guys are all going to come back, right? I do think the Freeman thing is kind of right, and we talked about this last time. I'm not convinced that I'm with Plaschke on this. Just kind of seeing him move at first base, I'm not convinced he's right. That said, we've still kind of seen him hit, in stretches during the course of the season, including somewhat recently. So I'm not too concerned there. Again, I think Muncy will be back. Teoscar Hernandez, that one, that might be kind of an issue, right? Because that one kind of feels like it's been like lingering since since he went on the IL with that growing thing. I don't think he's quite looked right at that point. And every one of these guys just kind of lengthens that lineup, makes it a little more formidable. And I kind of my guess is that the Teoscar thing is something that they're going to right. They're going to be kind of one player short of maybe being that super offense that they have. I'm still like more kind of concerned about the pitching side of things. I mean, after today, I know it's kind of like knee jerk reactiony, but like, right. And I've been talking about starting pitching. But you know what? Glass looked great today. I still, my concerns there are still intact in terms of, okay, can he make it to the end of the season? Can he make it into October? But right now, like, I mean, Yates, boy, it's feels like they've had like one too many of these things. They probably need like an arm in the bullpen, and I think ideally also a starter. I'm not really sure where they get that starter from, but to me, the pitching side is still more the concern.
I think if you look at the last two series, the bullpens have Astros and Brewers have hard throw, 100-mile-an-hour throwers. The Dodgers can't handle that. I'm worried about the offense. I'm worried that they can't get around. I'm worried that Shohei's worried about his pitching. I'm worried that Mookie's worried about his shortstop, and I'm worried that something's wrong with Freddie physically.
I'm going to meld these two things. I think the reality of the Dodgers pitching staff this year is that it's going to be most likely just as flawed, if not more flawed, than last year's staff, or at least it could be. Look, there's a world in which, yeah, Glasnow's back and stays healthy and is pitching well. Blake Snell comes back and is pitching well. Yamamoto stays healthy. Shohei Ohtani stretches out. The bullpen gets healthy. But the reality is, like we've talked about all year, the rotation is going to be a wild card all the way up until the end of the season. The bullpen could be good, but like you said, Kirby Yates, that has not been working. Tanner Scott blew another save at the end of this Brewers series. Michael Kopech just had a meniscus surgery for an injury that was initially supposed to only keep him out a couple of weeks. Blake Treinen's coming back, but he was pushed really hard last October and has a forearm thing now. And even if they do make some moves at the deadline, I don't think there's any guarantee that if they try to get a starter, they're going to be able to find somebody who was as good for them as Jack Flaherty was last year. They try to get a reliever. Um, there are going to be more options there, but the core of this bullpen, or what was supposed to be the core of this bullpen this year, just has not been as good as they need it to be. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad pitching staff, but it's one that's going to leave them with a little less margin for error offensively. And then this is where, on the offensive side, I worry because it's not that they've been missing Max Muncy so much. Like, actually, Miguel Rojas has done a pretty nice job filling in for him at third base on both sides of the ball. I think what's happened is Max Muncy's gone, and it has made Freddie Freeman's struggles that much more evident. Mookie Betts' struggles that much more evident. Shohei Ohtani, whose numbers have dropped off,
He was
not
3 for 30.
yeah, since he started pitching, he's still been okay. He's still hitting home runs, but I mean, I got the last 7 day stats in front of me here. He's batting 1 for 74, or he's batting 174 over the last week. Andy Pages has ticked down a little bit. Ha-Seong Kim is not hitting the way he was earlier this season, and Teoscar Hernandez, like you talked about, Dylan, even before like this fouling the ball off his foot thing, has not looked right for a while. Although I think once he gets healthy, and I do think eventually he could get healthy. Like that'll look better. But I just think in general with the offense, there's going to be more of a burden on the offense this year. I feel like to pick up the slack to be really good in the postseason. I would be really surprised right now if the Dodgers are in October, just with the way the pitching staff is currently, throwing 3 consecutive shutouts. And that's why when I look at what they need to fix right now, what's been exposed in this week, it's that when they face good pitching, if they don't have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani doing the two-way thing, and those guys at their best level, even if they do get Max Muncy back, it is a lineup that's susceptible to stretches like this. In the same way, in the 2022 playoffs, in the 2023 playoffs, we saw them get shut down by decent pitching staffs. And that's what I worry about what this week has showed, is that even though they've pitched okay this week, they haven't pitched at the level that they needed to win 1-0 or 2-1 games. And then when they did start facing really good pitching, some of the cracks in the lineup were exposed, especially without somebody like Max Muncy. And it leaves them in this kind of interesting spot and difficult spot leading up to the trade deadline, which is how do you fix this? Because the rotation options aren't great. Adding relievers at the deadline is always kind of a crapshoot. and kind of trying to figure out what to do with the offense is tricky because you are expecting Max Muncy back. You are expecting some of these guys to tick back up. But at the same time, you need to try to bake in some insurance if you don't. And that's why, again, to me, this month of July was going to be really informative as to how aggressive they needed to be at the deadline. And while, yes, this might just be a bad 1 week blip against two pitching staffs that were really good, like they faced Framber Valdez, they faced this Jacob Mizorowski guy who was
The Miz, I
unbelievable,
love him.
The
unbelievable the
twisted
other
the
night.
twisted
Can't beat the
ankle
Miz.
guy.
Yes, the twisted ankle guy. He got Clayton Kershaw's respect. So that's part of it. And I did think in the series finale against the Brewers, like it was a better showing. They generated chances, they just couldn't finish them. But the reason they couldn't finish them is because, like in that seventh inning, Mookie Betts comes up with the bases loaded, can only get a sac fly. Freddie Freeman comes up with the bases loaded, rolls one over to the right side. And we're at the point now that I think the concerns about those guys are kind of growing and becoming more realistic for the long term this season. And I think puts you in a position that if it was me, I look at this week with the lineup. Like I think even with the arms the Dodgers have, they can piece together enough pitching. But I look at what happened to the lineup this week, and just losing Max Muncy suddenly leaves you susceptible to this kind of performance. That's the thing I would worry about in the long term being your biggest potential weakness, and why I'm still on kind of the side of if they're going to make a big move at the deadline, especially given what the market's going to look like, I would look at the bats because this was a concerning week and the kind of thing that in a postseason environment could be exposed again.
I mean, this is the first time this late in the season I've seen a team that's better than the Dodgers, and that's the Astros. The Astros just have a better team. The Brewers don't. The Brewers are big chokers. We know that. But the Astros are cheating and cheating well and cheating hard.
Still
And
cheating?
no. But oh, I can't stand Altuve. I can't stand watching him. I can't stand. He shouldn't even be in the league. But anyway, but the Astros look like they're better than the Dodgers, and that's one team and I'm sure there's more out there.
And that's a
You know,
team, by the way, that's missing its best hitter in Yordan Alvarez and lost a lot of other pieces and was able to put together good performance. 18 runs at Dodger Stadium on 4th of July.
here's the thing though, man. I just think okay, Max Muncy, Teoscar Hernandez, right? Whatever their thing is, they're going to need their guys to kind of hit no matter what, right? And I think the problem, the kind of that you have now, I mean, I think the Freeman situation, again, I think it's physical. You clinch early enough, you can kind of manage that. And then kind of it's going to kind of fall where it falls. I do think there are kind of two questions here, right? One is can Mookie Betts, right, while playing shortstop, kind of right, or maybe it's an age thing, right? Whether it's while playing shortstop or just being at this stage of his career, can he still produce offensively? And then Shohei Ohtani, while he's doing the two-way thing, can he continue to be a productive hitter? I just kind of think at this point, like I mean, you're paying these guys the money. They have to show up, right? And frankly, if they don't and they disappear in October, right, just like a couple of years ago, when right, when Freeman and Betts kind of disappeared and we kind of put it on them. I mean, now they got three guys there, and yeah, sure, like having these extra guys in the lineup do kind of help, right? I mean, like you said, it mass it makes up for when those guys aren't like completely on fire. That said, those guys have to deliver, right? They are getting paid, right? I mean, well, except Ohtani, who's basically paying them, but like, you know, they have kind of built this team around those three guys, and I just think, I don't know, like, I mean, well, I guess to me, here's the thing, right? Is I still prioritize the arm if I think that Mookie Betts can be productive, and I just kind of think at this point, I would still bet on Mookie Betts. I would still bet on Ohtani, kind of knowing that, right, especially Ohtani, knowing that, like, look, whatever it is, he seems to be aware of what people are talking about, right? As oblivious as he kind of seems to be, and he kind of is, right, doesn't really seem to care too much in dealing with the media and stuff. I do think he's aware of what's out there and what's being said. And I think he knows that people are talking about he can't do this two-way thing anymore. And this is the type of situation where Otani's going to come out and he's going to do it just to prove us wrong. You know, I do agree. These are like real concerns, but I just kind of think that if I'm kind of looking and I got to place bets on certain guys, Betts and Otani got to be at the top of the list of the guys I'm willing to bet on, right? And so again, and look, and if they deliver, the offensive side of things are kind of taken care of, and then now you can go and kind of turn your attention to addressing the pitching side.
I guess the problem I have there is I don't know. To me, the best version of the pitching you're going to get is going to be the one, like it's the same argument that you're making, but I think the pitching's only going to be good if Snell is healthy, if Glasnow's healthy, if some of these relievers come back healthy, and that there's only going to be so much you can do at the deadline. The way you can work around maybe the pitching being a little more erratic than it was last October, and look, maybe it still works out. Like Dodgers pitching overperformed what we were all expecting was going to be in last year's playoffs. Honestly, this season, pitching wise, has played out up to this point a lot like last year did. And last year, they lost even more guys in the second half of the season, which I think is just unlikely to happen again, although it's very much possible. But I think the pitching is going to be a little less reliable than it was last year. And the way you can ensure against that is by not just crossing your fingers that, what's happening this season is Mookie Betts isn't just getting old and that Freddie Freeman, has some physical stuff he's got to work through. Teoscar Hernandez has some physical stuff you got to work through. And even with those guys, like those guys had been struggling for the last couple months, but having somebody like Max Muncy, having just like that one other impact bat you could count on, still made them the highest scoring offense in baseball. And that's why right now, when I look at this team, yeah, Max Muncy's going to come back, but you don't know what kind of version you're going to get of him. What are the odds that all of the nine guys in the starting lineup are going to stay healthy for the rest of the season? And that's why when I look at this, I kind of almost trust like the variance of the internal options a little bit more because like there's only going to be so much you can do. Even the way Jack Flaherty pitched last year probably overperformed what the Dodgers were going to be expecting of him. And this year's trade market might not even have somebody of that stature who ends up getting moved. So I just I think the Dodgers can still piece together enough pitching, even if not everything goes right. I don't like Plaschke said, like they face some good arms here this week, and they're missing one guy, and other guys are struggling, and suddenly like they can't even mount rallies really, or even generate a lot of chances, and that's something I didn't foresee happening, and has really been stark to me watching the way that this losing streak has played out.
Jack, in the last 15 minutes, I've seen one plane behind you. Are you in a private airport?
He's
it's
in
Mil- it's
Milwaukee.
It's a
Milwaukee.
look, look, oh, look, oh, look, there is
Out of nowhere.
a truck, a tanker.
If you
I,
see an American A320 go
I've
by,
seen one
let me know
plane.
because I've been waiting on it for a while.
You're at a private airport somewhere. You're not telling us. There's one plane.
You
This is
think
the
that
least
there's a lot?
business
You think
airport
there's a
in
lot of
America.
flights? And let me tell you, because I had to look, not a lot of flights out of Milwaukee
No, I can tell.
at the eight
But
o'clock
one.
hour on a Wednesday.
That's unbelievable. What a town. Half anybody
They
live
should
there.
just move They might as well just move the Brewers to like Bakersfield or something.
Yeah, really.
That'd be a big market compared to where they are right now.
So you all going to the All Star game. Both of you guys are going down there on a complete boondoggle. Do you go?
Oh yes, this is what we want to spend the 1 week of no regular season games in
There's a
Atlanta in
truck behind you.
mid-July.
Tank truck. Was it? Do you go to the home run derby?
Uh, yes, although it doesn't look like there's going to be any Dodgers in it this year, so maybe not. I had to wait out the whole one last year. That was fun.
I'm guessing Dylan doesn't go to the home run derby, right, Dylan?
Well, the big media availability, right, is going to be on Monday, and the home run derby is after that. So it kind of depends on how quickly I finish, I guess.
I
What we're
can't
gonna
see
say.
you staying for that.
Let's
I bet you don't stay for
let's
that.
let's just say Dylan was there in Texas on the Monday last year and was nowhere to be found when Teoscar Hernandez was making his valiant charge to the very last round of the home
You
run
were there,
derby.
Dylan. You didn't go to the home run derby last year, Dylan. You were there.
As I just, yeah, I probably had to write.
Well. So, and what interviews can you get, Dylan, there that you can't get otherwise? What can you
Um,
get?
yeah, so the one great thing about the All Star,
He's justifying work
Yeah, he
expenses
is.
right now.
no, the one big thing that you have there is you got right, both leagues, all the All Stars, with the exception of the starting pitchers who do press conferences, are available. It's kind of like the World Series media day, right? So you got them there for what, like 45 minutes to like an hour, and they're just kind of sitting ducks there, and so. I thought it
They're
might
like
be a good
sitting ducks.
chance. Yeah, I thought it might be a good chance to, chat a bit with Mr. Yamamoto, who we
Do you
haven't
already have
really.
a dinner plan with somebody?
No, but I'm sure that could be arranged.
At a Waffle House, I hope.
Yeah, then we got Kershaw in on this thing. No.
Is Kirsch going to start?
Start the game?
Yeah,
No.
he should.
He
He
should.
should.
I don't think he would want to start. I think he
It's an
feels awkward
all-star game.
enough.
What the hell?
I think
I
he
know,
feels
Flash,
awkward
Flash.
enough about being there.
Right. Well, I mean, we campaigned for him to start a couple of years ago at Dodger Stadium. Like he got his start already. You know, this is nice for him. Like he can, his kids are older now. They're probably more aware of what's going on, and so let them enjoy the day.
He even said he's not sure if he wants to even pitch of the game. Like he only wants to pitch as long as like all the guys he said that were actually deserving, and he was grateful to get the honor. Got him totally by surprise. Nobody told him like this was a great scene in the Dodger clubhouse the other day. Nobody told him this was happening, so he's sitting there with his 9 starts under his belt this year, not having to worry about the All Star selections. And then Dave Roberts goes, "Oh, Clayton Kershaw, you're going to the All Star game too." But yeah, I think he's just happy that he's going to get to experience that and was grateful to be honored or recognized as, a Legends pick.
Is there any other Dodgers you're interested in seeing play in that game?
I mean, Freddie Freeman will have the Atlanta thing. It's always interesting to watch Ohtani in these games. I mean, Ohtani's always interesting because, like, guys playing against him in that environment, I think there's still like a level of novelty to what he's doing that it's he hit a home run last year that um, was a big deal. But and then Yamamoto, first time for him, although he's not going to pitch because he's pitching Sunday. But
Is there any chance Freddie Freeman gets booed?
no,
No chance.
especially now with how the Braves are. I think those fans are
Yeah, you're right.
right begging that he could be back with them.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the home run derby though, right? Tani kind of talked about with the way the rules are right now, where it's just you just kind of take as many swings as you can in an allotted time. That under these rules, it probably makes it unlikely, that he would participate. Probably not just this year, I assume, but kind of going forward too. At this point, shouldn't they just like Major League Baseball just go to Otani and Judge and just be like, "Hey, you two guys make the rules," because like frankly, if those two
Great
guys aren't
idea.
in it, it
That's a
feels
good idea, Bill.
completely pointless.
Yeah, because I don't know who's even doing the derby.
You're not tuning in for Dodger legend O'Neill Cruz.
That's because he hits the hardest balls in baseball. Yeah, a plane. There's a plane behind you. I see it. I see one plane.
It's probably the only one you're going to see for a
The
little while
airport's not
still.
totally empty.
Well, let's just say I'm able to do this sitting in a completely empty concourse, so it's pretty
God,
empty.
What a town! What a terrible town!
Nice
I
ballpark
know.
though. I like the
And
ballpark.
that river too, with that dirty ass water, like going through
All right,
downtown.
Charles Barkley. Milwaukee is your Corpus or San Antonio.
Are you all staying in that shopping mall in Atlanta?
No, not in the shopping mall.
I'm out at I'm like maybe 15 minutes away. I'm there with a bunch of very cost conscious Japanese reporters, and
Yeah, I know
I've
you already
taken.
made social plans. I know you, Dylan. You've already made social plans. Your whole weekend is planned out. You're going for the party. Damn it,
I
Dylan.
am going to work. I'm going to work, and work
You
some
know what?
more.
We talked about it. Dylan called me. He's like, "Is it worth going and staying?" I'm like, "You got 2 stories. You got Yamamoto. You got Kershaw. You might even have Otani in there. What more could you want?"
We're at the All Star break, basically. Who thinks they can still win the World Series? I say they don't right now.
I say they still win, but I think they got to do something at the deadline
I do
somewhere.
too. Dylan,
Yeah,
you?
I think if they can get their pitching going in some way, they'll be in there. I'm still, until Betts and Otani just kind of crap out. I just think those are two good guys to bet on, relatively speaking to the situation. So, yeah, I think between Glasnow and Snell, one of them gets into October, and then we'll see from there.
All right. Next week, we're going to require a full report on your doings in Atlanta, Dylan. A full
It's just,
documented
it's
report.
just, it's
Itemized
just gonna be.
receipts,
It's gonna be just just a
geotagged
lot of.
photos.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna be doing. A lot of transcribing, a lot of hard hitting interviews at media day,
Hard
and
hitting interviews.
and
Sure. Hey, look at me. Look at me. I'm your hometown reporter. Look at me.
No, that's the whole point. Everyone else is gonna be at Shohei. He's gonna get Yama all to himself.
He won't leave Shohei's side. Believe me, he will not leave Shohei's side.
I'm sorry. I'm only sorry the Plaschke can't come back to
I know
Atlanta.
that's the thing, man.
I know it's your favorite city.
I love the Waffle House.
It has the El Super Pan. What else could you want?
God, remember that time? Wasn't it the first day that we went there? Where there was like a brawl inside and people were throwing tables and stuff?
That happened.
Yeah, that was a nice introduction to that place.
And there's still no planes behind Jack. It's unbelievable.
Not yet. I do have to
Yeah.
go here in a minute. We're
All right.
allegedly going to be boarding 2 hours late.
Boarding what? Like a
I
carriage
don't
or
know.
horse-drawn carriage?
That would beat sitting on the ground.
Real fast about my one last story. I ripped the Waffle House. The Waffle House president, the owner, Mr. Waffle, called me, got my number, called me, and sent me a bunch of Waffle House gear.
Is that
Waffle
his
House
name or
candles,
like an honorary thing?
Waffle House shirt, and remember they made waffles in my honor in the press box the next
Yes,
day.
they did. See, Dylan, when Plaschke makes a city upset, everybody wins. When you do, you just get like stray bullets on the local newscast. Be better.
Well, Dylan, didn't somebody get in a fight over you in Milwaukee? They were booing you so hard.
Yes, that was yes. So I had because I noticed that the fans in Milwaukee are really old, right? So they like if there's like a home run, the Brewers hit a home run, they cheer really loud for like 10 seconds and then they get tired and then it gets like really quiet.
Shame on you! You're so awful.
So I nicknamed the place the Monastery, and the Brewers hit a home run and one of the
You were
local and one of
you
the
were gonna
local
age
yokels.
so bad.
One
You
of the
got so
local-
much karma coming.
one of the local yokels over there turns around and says to Bill Plunkett at the register, "Does it sound like a monastery now?" And Andy McCullough, who's sitting next to me, stands up and screams at him, come over here, come say it over here, MFer." You know, and I'm like, dude, I don't even care. This guy's about to fight.
It was a great scene in the press box.
I honestly would have just laughed and high-fived the guy. Tell him.
Jack, great teammate.
Good.
And change that shirt. That's stolen valor. Change that shirt.
It's not
Yeah, well-
camo. Look, it's literally from a golf course.
You know what's funny too
Got
is
a
like in
golf
that part of the
course on.
country, right? They, because of Fox News and stuff, they think San Francisco is some
Oh,
kind of
boy.
dump. You're going to
San Francisco is a dump.
hey, compared to Milwaukee.
A different
It's
kind
a
of
dump. I agree. San Francisco's
It's
a
a
dump.
different kind of
Oh,
dump.
there are places to go in San Francisco. You can't even compare. You're going to.
It's
It's the
terrible.
getting from the places you want to go
Yeah, there's something called Uber.
Oh boy. I just got an email. My flight's been delayed again. Great.
Then
Oh,
Karma.
Yeah,
Well,
Karma.
because there's no planes there. There's no
All
freaking
right.
planes at the airport.
All right. One day I'll be able to leave, but maybe not. We'll see.
Maybe not.
Anyway. All right. Thank you.
See you next week.